everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Crusader Kings 2 with Duke Cenred of York. Yes indeed, we're back once again. Right then, the reason why I'm back is because I'm looking forward to dealing with Duke Emmenric, the Lecher of Huis, who dared to try to put his filthy hands on my wife. So we're going to get to that first of all, and then once we've dealt with him, what we're going to do is we're going to just quickly run down the family tree, because there's a few little developments which pass me by. We'll have a quick rundown over the old Johansson family tree. So we'll do that as well, and then we'll crack on. The session might be a little bit on the shorter side. It wasn't a planned session, but you know what, I thought I'd just sit down and have a blast this morning. So first of all then, to the main attraction. We did debate what to do with this man. A regular war for titles, or a rivalry war. I can't even say it. A rivalry war. Get my teeth back in. And looking at the man, wrathful, no patience there, ambition, wrathfulness. He killed his father, for heaven's sake. Is he the man to sit back and wait for a chancellor to fabricate some titles for a poxy county or duchy down south that we care not about? No. Doesn't seem right. So a rivalry war was the preferable of the two. But a third option exists that I've just found out about. How to put it into action. And that is a duel. Personal combat. One-on-one. May the best man win. Now that interests Cenred even more so. We are the Marshal of England, down south training troops in Somerset. Should we march our troops down in a rivalry war, we won't even be leading the army. Look at the numbers. It'd be a foregone conclusion. Yes, it'd been ourselves. Yes, we could humiliate him. But people would talk. We wouldn't have been personally on the battlefield. What hand did we really play in this? In teaching this man a lesson? No, that's not the way to go about things. However, slaying him in personal combat, now that there is no debating about. That is true revenge. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to teach this man and anybody else watching what happens when you cross us. Fourth generation are we now? Third generation? Third. With every generation, the old Viking bloodline gets more and more watered down, but it cannot be overlooked that we still have descended from those barbarian types across the sea, and some ways that they have of dealing with things we can relate to, and this is one of them. So without further ado, we go to War Focus, which unlocks the dual action. We fast forward a couple of days to let the personal combat effect kick in, an extra 10 to our personal combat. And this is also the perfect way for us to christen our new weapon, to christen our new armour. It just seems so perfect. So we send word to this dog that we wish to challenge him to a duel about honour. And he has chosen to accept the challenge. Because if he didn't, well, first of all, that's the biggest act of cowardice, that we would not let go when we shout from the rooftops, and second of all, then we would have no choice but to march our armies through his gates. But no, he's sparing his men, which is fair enough. The duel will take place in the next few days. And now we could actually convene with our agents to try to ensure that no matter the cost, we remain victorious. That's not our style. We do not want there to be any risk, any chance that people can talk about the fact that we have won by underhanded methods. No, we want this to be above board. We want there to be no questions asked. And so, a true duel. Let's fight! Duke Emmerich swings his axe clumsily. Oh my god. Excuse me. Duke Emmerich swings his axe clumsily. The fight has gone on forever, and my muscles are beginning to ache. With the remainder of my strength, I thrust my Brutus Festivus hard into his chest. The surprise is clear on his face, as blood fills his mouth. I must have hit something important. Sounds like a duel that went on for some time. The man put up more of a fight than we thought, but nonetheless, Brutus Festivus struck him hard, struck him true, and the man is on his last legs, coughing up blood, and we look into his eyes and laugh. That's what you get for putting your hands on my wife. Your death was the only logical outcome, brother. Duke Emmerich dies. Now this is the perfect outcome, because I think sometimes in a duel you don't kill them, and then you've got the option to kill them, which gives you merciless, or you can spare them. This, not our fault. You know, this is as it was. Dead. And at age 25, the lecherous dog, Duke Emmerich of Uis, was slain by us in personal combat. His blood spattered on our face. We wipe it down. We wipe it. We rub it in like war paint, and bask in our glory. So much more satisfying than a war. Oh yes, he won't be putting his hands on anybody's wife ever again. Right, and so that's that situation taken care of. Embracing his Viking roots. Good on you, Cenred. Good on you. Right then, so as I said, we're going to start kick things off by looking at the family tree. Just going to have a very quick look at the Johanssons so far, because we've been soldiering on for a while now, and we haven't done this yet, really. So of course we can take a look back at the founding father, the man who started it all, remind ourselves actually just how great this man was as a person. You know, five of the virtues, brave as well, erudite, zealous. He's got crusader, he's a pilgrim, he's also strong. And, it was fantastic. He was fantastic as a character. He really was. Saintly status, save for drunkenness. Without being drunk, this man would probably be a saint now. But nonetheless, still a great man. He had 3 children. Johann II, who unfortunately died of severe stress at age 26, married to the treacherous Duchess Eofgith the Just, and together they had 3 kids. No, they had 2 kids. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So yes, they had 2 kids. They had Johann III and Seinhild, Johann's daughter, who's married to some person out there. Was married to the Duke of Mercia, but now to somebody else. So that's her. But in terms of Johann the Third, third Johann. Of course, this is the Johann, our cousin, who's currently in charge of 3 duchy titles. That's the fella here. Now, if we take a look at this family unit to start with here, this family unit is a very powerful family unit, much to our annoyance. He has a strong claim on the Kingdom of England, whereas we only have a weak claim. That's the first issue that we take umbrage with. The second issue is, of course, he has all that land. The third issue is his wife is a duchess, so together, combined, they have quite a large chunk of land across the country, which will be passed to this child. And the fourth thing is, this lady here is heir to the Kingdom of England. She has 2 votes. Kent and Mercia are voting for her. I mean, if her own husband decided to vote for her, she'd actually be clearly in front, but he's not. He's voting for his brother. So there's 2 Johanssons with more votes than us. He's got 2 as well. She's got 2, but she's the heir to the kingdom, the future queen. So yeah, together, this family unit are going places, and that bothers us. Of course, they've had 3 kids, Johann the 4th, and 2 little girls. He's 7, and been tutored by a holy man, in fitting with the family history, which is, I suppose, good to see from a player perspective. So that's the line of Johanns. As we now turn to good old Agatha, the daughter that was cast aside to the nunnery, who had the bastard daughter who is now married to the current King of France. Was married to the prince, but now he has risen to the throne. So yes, she's actually a queen now. She's done well for herself, hasn't she? And they have got 5 kids. She's my cousin, yeah? Therefore Prince Hughes of France is my second cousin, yeah? Betrothed to my daughter, which makes them kind of, what, third cousins? Distant cousins? Bit close for comfort. But hey-ho, it's the medieval times. You can see how these things happen, can't you? Interfamiliar marriage. Marvellous. And then we go to the third child of Johann. It's the battle of the 2 brothers' sons, really. Isn't it? So as we know, Cenred liked to put it about a bit, and has had a few kids. Of course, there is us, good old Cenred the Festive, with our children, Cenred the Third, Godwine, couple of daughters that are geniuses. But of course there's Beotnoth, Duke of Gluinsing, who's had now 1 daughter. We've got Adrulf, who died frothing at the mouth, who was married to the Duchess of Aquitaine, and they had a kid who has actually come to power because the Duchess has died. So that's another little development. And unfortunately for him, he is currently in a war for Aquitaine against Laurent of Poitou, and Laurent of Poitou is winning, so he may lose his lands. But as things currently stand, a Johansson is ruling in a duchy in France. That's quite nice. So that's that little situation. And then we've got Adelaide, who was married to the Duke of Mosul, who was linked in with the Byzantines. That was a marriage of alliance to help out with the situation with Bulgaria and Italy. But he's now died of camp fever 4 years ago. So she's now unmarried. And is she back in our... Nope, she's actually still down there. Aldrich is unmarried, as things currently stand, so we could marry him off as a close family member, and we still may get some alliances out of that. Aethelstan has moved to one of the religious orders, the Knights of Calatrava, and then we've got young little Cecilia, our sister, who's actually not too bad. Ambitious and quick. I mean, look at these traits. Very good all-rounded woman. Would make her a fair wife. We might have to start looking. So there you go, that's the family tree. 23 members and 4 of them have died, so still going strong. Still going strong is the Johansson family. And there hasn't been any real major infighting as things currently stand. Yes, we've killed our father, we know that. But in terms of, like, you know, locking horns with other family members in full-scale revolt or war, hasn't happened yet. But given what I've just explained about Johann's family unit, you can only sense that trouble's brewing. Now, the only saving grace, which I'm debating and contemplating about, is if we now take the chance to kill the current king and have her rise to the throne as queen. It would be a female ruler. We have a weak claim, and weak claims can be pressed against female rulers. As a woman ruler, would she command the respect of all of her subjects? I think her rule would be quite shaky. So what do you think? Too soon? Should we continue to build our power base perhaps in Ireland a little bit longer? Strengthen our numbers just that little bit more before we do something like that? The next question I have is, if we were to form an alliance, which we're going to do anyway, it's now available for us to press that, with the King of Germany, and then once again do the same with the King of France. He just probably requires a little bit of extra coin, which we could certainly sort out. If we get an alliance with both of these major kings, if we were to press our claim against the Queen of England, we would become an independent ruler because we've broken away. Would these guys be able to join our war in those circumstances? If the answer to that question is yes, then it makes it much more likely that we should be doing this sooner rather than later, in terms of trying to get her on the throne as quickly as possible and then instantaneously rising up against her. So this session is going to be shorter. I'm going to take a few months across because, yeah, I need to think about that, and obviously your comments are always welcome in these kind of situations. So we'll go until the 1st of Jan. As I said, it is a shorter session. It's just a kind of an intermediary kind of session, not a full-blown thing. But yeah, certainly interesting times could be ahead. So we have invited this man across because if you have a look at him, he is Adamar the Lion, a 50-year-old, extremely competent fighting man from France. We are going to appoint as commander, head commander of our forces. So we have an alliance with the King of Germany. So he's claiming Anglesey now, which is to be expected. And our liege's council is discontent. Our Chancellor has been moved. As you can see, we moved him at the start of the session. Well, before the session started. We've moved him from fabricating claims in Oxford, or Huis, to fabricating claims here in Ossory. We're trying to expand our land in Ireland. This is the nearest duchy to us, and it's a small 3-county duchy. So if we get lucky and fabricate a claim on the entire duchy, on the petty king, all the better. If we only take a claim on the county, we only have to get a claim on one more, and then we can usurp his title anyway. So that seems like the logical next step in expanding in Ireland. But before we do that, depending on what happens after the session is finished, and what we come to the conclusion of in relation to, you know, trying to put the Queen on the throne to take her off it, this may not come to fruition, but we'll see. But the current king, he's got 11,000 men, a fair bit, but we now, having just taken Munster, we now are the most powerful vassal. Which does bring a slight smile to our face because we've overtaken our cousin, which is nice. Chancellor Gauthier approached me after the council meeting to request some more diplomats to aid him in obtaining more information concerning the rumoured artefact. No, you shall have your diplomats. General opinion -15 for 5 years, or I can spare these resources. Wow. We are wanting those artifacts, come what may. And we've managed to convince the Pope to like us that little bit more. We're now a nice flat neutral 0. At least he doesn't hate our guts. What the hell was that noise? The hell was that? You guys heard that, right? I can relate. What the hell was that noise? What the hell was that? We got no message. What the hell was that noise? How very odd. And we're going to end the session there. As I said, we're going to end it a little bit early compared to normal. But yeah, a couple of things to think about. Do we do it? Do we make our move now? We've got 4,000 men at our disposal. We could hire some mercenaries if necessary. And again, can she? She's not exactly poor, or she'll be the queen, but it depends. If she was to rise to power, she's actually quite martial. So I think it might still be too soon. I think so. We don't want to. And then if we push her onto the throne, and we can't act out against her, it's going to be very, very irksome for us, because she'll be on the throne, and we don't want her there. We want to put her there only when we're ready to take her off it, so that she's on that throne for as little time as possible. But yeah, it might. What will sway this decision, I think, is if we can call our allies into the fight. If we can't, well, I think it's still too soon. If we can, I think it might be time to play our hand. Right then, let me know what you think. Join me in the next session. Until then... Oh yeah, and also, if you know what the hell that noise was, let me know as well. It was very strange. It's like something really important happened, but there's just no message at all. It sounded like a religious noise, if that makes sense. I don't know, I've never heard it before. Yeah. See you soon.